I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. What's up and what's going on, Alpha Family, ADT Nation? How we all doing today? Welcome back, traders, and happy Friday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. You're taking this time to dissect that morning stock newsletter to get prepared for today's trading session. Right now at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple things happening in the market. We definitely have some opportunity, and we're going to take this time to get you guys prepared for today. And as we know, Fridays are some of the slowest days of the week. Lack of press releases, lack of volume, lack of activity. So how do we approach our Fridays? This is how we approach our Fridays. We come in, we identify the top stocks like always. We identify those best opportunities. We get in, we get out, we make it happen, and we then enjoy our weekend. I want you guys ending this week on a strong and profitable note, and let's make it happen. But before we dive into it, go ahead and hit me with a big old good morning, ADT Nation, and then everybody over on YouTube. How we doing today? Good morning and happy Friday. Mr. Ed Nevis, always over on the tube. What's up, boss? The man, the myth, the legend. Joey, always holding it down. Mr. Steve as well. Texas, Danny, Darren, Edwin, good morning. Like Joey said, if you are new to the stream, please smash that subscribe button, smash that like button. Definitely help the stream out. We show up every single day to try to get you guys prepared for the trading session so you know where the best opportunity is, and to help you guys get some nice little base hit and some quick wins in the market. So do us a huge favor. Like Joey said, smash that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. We would greatly appreciate it. But again, good morning and happy Friday. And then everybody inside of chat, the Alpha family, how we all doing? Good morning, traders. Hope you guys are having an awesome Friday morning. I hope you guys are getting prepared for today's trading session. But let's go ahead and sum it all up. Let's go ahead and break everything down. Our top stocks of the day, what we can expect, what we're looking for, and how we're planning on taking advantage of this market to get you guys inside of Profits Chat once again today. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So number one, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about VEEE. So VEEE is our lowest float stock here on the leaderboard. We're trading about 1 million shares on average, 18,000. VEEE is also a newer IPO stock. And we've been seeing a lot of these new IPOs that are dropping the day of, absolutely taking on off, like TGL. We see a lot of these stocks that are prior IPOs that have IPO'd, not done a lot, and then boom, they're moving on up, they start ripping and running. So VEEE, I do like it for those reasons, right? We got a nice low float stock. We are trying to move on up here a little bit. We are trading about 1 million shares, and it's a newer IPO play. And we know that these newer IPO plays really bring in a lot of attention with traders, especially when they start moving on up. So we definitely want to watch VEEE today, ideally above $5 support. So we can hold above $5. That's a good sign. That's a sign of strength if we can see buyers keep this stock above $6 or above $5. Today, where could we see VEE go, right? We could see it possibly back up to that IPO spiking high of 758. And this stock is moving up on earnings, right? So they had earnings today. They dropped those earnings report. We have VEE up from $4 to 553. Again, good volume, nice low float stock, newer IPO play. And we know that these newer IPOs do generate some hype and attention from traders here in the market. So let's keep this one on watch. I'm not saying it's the number one stock for today, but it definitely has potential, guys. And we definitely want to keep it on watch above $5. If we can hold $5, we could definitely see some buyers move back in and potentially push this stock up towards around that 758 level, which was the IPO spiking high. And since we're talking about IPOs, let's go talk about TGL. And you may have an entry coming on up at this point in time. So TGL was a brand new IPO yesterday. The IPO'd right around $10. The stock dumped on down to 455, halted multiple times. And then by the end of the day, this stock was almost up towards around $20. We hit these highs like 1998. So a massive move yesterday on TGL after the IPO. And we're starting to see some volume and traders move back in to TGL as well. We were discussing this one, that if we can break back above 1318, that's where we could see some traders move back in. That was a lot of resistance yesterday. here on TGL was at 13.18, and we had a lot of great support in post markets right around 13.18, and then we cracked below it in pre-market. So the second we broke back above 13.18 is the second we saw volume start to move back in. So at this point in time, TGL is on high watch for today because TGL is back above that key level of prior resistance, new support. So assuming the stock holds above 13.18, that's a sign of strength. We could see buyers start to move back in to TGL, pushing the stock where? Possibly back up to those pre-market highs of around $17. So again, that's potentially a $4 move to the upside on the stock. And then if we ever break 17 bucks, we have potential to see the stock up towards around 20. And if this is the one stock that every trader lands on, and this stock starts really taking on off, we could see that break at 20, and we could see 25, 30, and beyond. Again, we've seen that a lot. Go back and look at HKD. Go look at some of these newer IPO stocks that have absolutely taken on off within a few days of their IPO. And we have volume. There is traders here. This stock is moving. It is a good candidate for a big mover today, guys. So I want to definitely watch TGL above 13.18. As long as you hold above that level, guys, this stock has tons of potential. Again, about $4 to the upside into those pre-market highs, and then up towards around $20. That's $7 away. You could get away with risking $2 to $3 on this stock and have potential to make $7. That's a great 2 to 1. And this is a stock you got to give some breathing room, right? If you're trying to get in with a 50-cent risk or a 50-cent stop, you may get chopped out of this play. This is something that you probably need to lower your position down a little bit to be able to give this stock a couple of dollars of breathing room, assuming it stays intact, assuming it still looks good. But as long as we're above 13.18, this stock has tons of potential. I may miss my opportunity. I was waiting for the pullback towards around 13.18. I was building a plan in pre-market. I may miss it, but I want to get you guys prepared for today. I can't jump in right now because I need to monitor and manage that position, and we won't be able to dissect the rest of these stocks, but you have it right here, right now. 13.18 support, guys. Room back to 17 and then 20 bucks. Let's see if we can have buyers come back in off this level for that next leg up. And since we're talking about IPOs, what could be another TGL? What could be another HKD? What could be another big time mover in a stock that is IPOing? Well, we got two potential IPOs for today, right? So you have FRZA. If you go over to the NASDAQ IPO calendar, upcoming IPOs, expected IPO date is today, August 12th. You got FRZA. If this stock ever goes live and we start to see it moving and it's hitting these scanners and it's getting halted, we could see FRZA do what TGL did yesterday and go on a massive move. We also have CHG IPOing today as well, right around that $5 price. So we're going to be watching FRZA if it IPOs today, and then possibly CHG, and see if we get some action like we had with TGL yesterday. Right, guys? So we're definitely going to be watching that. All right, and then TGL right now at this point in time came right down to our 13.18, literally to the penny. 13.18 to the penny. So if you would have taken that trade, and even if it was just a scalp for a quick dip buy, you guys are up pretty nice right now, over 50 cents a share at this point in time. And assuming we hold that 13.18 on up, we have great potential to the upside, ladies and gentlemen. So right now here in pre-market, TGL is on high watch at this point in time, guys. Okay. We also have UBX moving on up. All right. UBX was the break and retest over 175. Came down, bounced at 175, came back down, put in a nice double bottom, right back up to $2. That was your first target. On your breaks and retests, your first target is always the high that we're selling off from. And again, you're looking for your entries off the prior high. So you have a break here of 175, a rip to 2. You're looking for the break and retest, the pullback to 175. That's your prior high. You're looking to make your entries. You know where your target is. Your first target is a retest of the prior high before the pullback. You had about 25 cents of potential here, and your risk was about 10 cents if we would have cracked below that 175. So UBX looking great. This stock is moving on up on earnings. At this point in time, UBX is about 50 million in float, trading really good volume. And UBX has good potential today as well, guys. So assuming we can stay above this 175 level and proceed to break $2, we could see buyers move back in and start to see our next leg up to 220 and then $2.86 here on UBX. So again, you got that support level at 175. Breaking $2, don't be surprised if you see 220. Breaking 220, don't be surprised if we see the stock up towards around 280. However, if we start falling below 175, it could still be in play. Where's your next level of support here on the stock? Well, you're going to be looking back down towards around 150. But if we ever crack 150 today, this thing's most likely going to fade on off back down towards around 120. So you really want to see that 175 hold on up. You're starting to get a new high a day here off the break, off the retest. And I just heard a ding, ding, ding inside of chat, and it looks like we have someone inside of Profits chat all ready to start their day. Johnny Holmes, UBX, already starting off his day strong on the break and retest here on UBX. Johnny, way to identify that opportunity, way to build your plan, way to get in pre-market and lock in your profits, way to start your day. Johnny, coming a long way, boss. I love it. Consistent. Keep up the amazing work. And that goes for everybody. Keep up the awesome work, guys. So that's what we have going on with UBX. Definitely going to be a top stock. All right. Those are our top stocks for the day, right? Slim pickings the day. It's your typical Friday. Not a lot of press releases, not a lot of action, but there is good potential right now at this point in time, right? TGL off that 1318. This stock is working on out in our favor. If you guys are in this, congratulations. Put stops below 13 on this type of trade, on that break and retest, on that dip buy. You don't want to see it below the dip buy low. The dip buy low was right at our 1318 level. So right now, if you got in right around 1318, you could put your stop loss right at $13, because if we crack 1318, probably going to crack 13 and probably going to come back down to $11. So again, I know I said give it some breathing room. If you're a traditional trader, give it breathing room, right? If you're going to give it some time to 17 and then 20, maybe beyond, yes, give it some breathing room. Put your stops maybe below that low here in pre-markets of $11. But if you're more of a scalper, getting in, getting out, scaling out along those pops, keep your stops nice and tight, because if you do crack below 13, you'll probably come back down to $11 anyway, and then probably bounce back up. You don't want to see TGL ideally dropping below that 1318, but already up about $1 on that dip buy. And we got even more profits inside of Profit Chat. Absolutely amazing. All right. So again, UBX is our number 1 pick of the day. You got TGL, our number 2 pick of the day, IPO from yesterday. Then you got VEEE. VEEE. Yes. Above $5. We can definitely see that break over 575 up towards around 750. And again, we're going to be watching FRZA to see if it IPOs today. Maybe we get some TGL action. CHG as well for the upcoming IPO. Nice. AJ got a quick little $60 base hit on UBX. Joey got a nice little trade there on UBX as well on the break and retest. That's absolutely amazing. We already have traders inside of chat locking in profits on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Friday. Good job. Good work. Keep it up. All right. Back burners for today. All right, back burners. You got ENVX. Why is this a back burner? Meeting some of that criteria that caused a lot of stocks to rip and run this week. ENVX is a stock that's easy to borrow on a lot of mainstream brokers. ENVX is also heavily shorted. Not heavily shorted like VERU at 42%, but there's about 15% of the float currently short on ENVX. And we saw this stock go from around 1850 to 2189 yesterday, right? Nice move. If we start to break over yesterday's highs on ENVX, we could see a lot of buyers start to really step back in. Right now, there's not a lot to base a trade off of. There's not a lot of great volume here in pre-market, but this is going to be one of my back burner sleeper play picks of the day. You guys know that these back burner sleeper play picks are literally sleeper plays. They sleep and they slide under the radar for a good majority of the day, but they make some pretty good moves. If we break 2189, guys, we have fantastic potential here on ENVX up towards around 2279 and then 2364. All right, we ever break that 2364, the $24 level, looking at this daily chart, we have room to $28, and that's where we could start to see a nice little short squeeze. Fridays are notorious for short squeezes. So if this stock is going to squeeze today, because we do have a high short float percentage, it would most likely occur today after yesterday's decent day to the upside. So I want to watch ENVX, back burner at this point in time, a little bit of a back burner sleeper play. And then VERU should absolutely be on watch as well, right? Why is that? 44% of the stock's float is currently short. It's meeting a lot of that criteria that we've seen a lot of other stocks meet this week that have gone on a big time moves. Moving up on earnings, right? High short float percentage. Easy to borrow on mainstream brokers. Plus, VERU is a former runner to top it on off. I want to definitely watch VERU as another back burner sleeper play pick of the day. As long as we hold above $15, there's potential. If we crack 15 bucks, we could start to fade back down into the 13s. So if we ever crack 15 bucks and it's looking weak and we see more short sellers moving on in, it is easy to borrow. I may look for a short on the stock today, but knowing Fridays are notorious for short squeezes, I really want to try and stay away from the short unless it's too good to pass up. But if we hold $15, we could see buyers continue to move on in, potentially back up to yesterday's highs of around $17.99. So call it 18 bucks. If VERU were to ever break $18, it's actually a little bit higher than 18 bucks. It's actually be 18.40. If we can ever break 18.40, guys, we have great potential to $20. If we ever break 20, this thing could really start taking on off. Fridays, again, notorious for short squeezes. This stock had earnings with a massive move from $10 to almost 18 bucks yesterday. That was an 80% move from those pre-market lows to those intraday highs. Again, it's easy to borrow on a lot of mainstream platforms and a lot of mainstream brokers. 44% of its flow is currently short. It's the prime candidate to be a potential short squeeze opportunity. Let's definitely keep VERU on watch for today. And then lastly, you got NVTA. But ladies and gentlemen, I think you pass this stock up. And the reason I say pass this stock up, we have not seen a single mid-candle breakout in about 2 weeks. We've seen the attempted mid-candle breakout, but each and every mid-candle breakout has failed. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've seen about 4 to 5 mid-candle breakout opportunities this week alone, and not a single one has worked out. So why would NVTA work out? Those aren't market conditions, right? Market conditions aren't really backing up these mid-candle breakouts where traders see it and they step on in and they start really buying that stock up for those big time moves. I don't think NVTA is going to make that break. I don't think it's going to make that move. But if I'm wrong, okay, we have potential, okay? 425 support. You crack 425, it's falling back below $4. It's dead. We'll probably see it back down into the low 3s. However, if we do hold above 425 support and we see the stock breaking 460, that's where buyers would most likely start to move back in over that 460 resistance, pushing the stock up towards around $5, then up towards around $5.35. That's a big level to break on NVTA. So if we get that 460 break, we have 40 cents of room to the upside, $5. If we break 5, we could see $5.35. So there's good potential to even scalp this up into those levels of resistance. And if this stock ever breaks that $5.35, that's where the big time volume really starts to move back in, pushing the stock up into the high $6 region, retesting yesterday's spiking high. And then that's where it gets fun. If this works out and this is a proper mid-candle breakout, and we ever see that high of day yesterday break, that's when this thing could really take on off back up towards around $9 here on NVTA. But again, I don't believe it's going to happen because we haven't seen a single mid-candle breakout work this week, all right? But we're going to keep it on watch. Maybe there's opportunity. Maybe it moves on up. And if so, let's take advantage of it. 425 support at this point in time, guys, right? So top 3 stocks, you got EEE, new high of day 630. You got TGL above that 1318. As long as we hold, there is potential here as well. And then UBX of 175, we have potential to that 221. We start to crack below 175, probably see it back down towards around 150. We ever crack 150, we'll probably see it fade and fall back down towards around 120. And then you guys know why we have ENVX on watch, why we have VERU on watch, and why we have NVTA on watch as well. Couple things with the SPY and the Qs, guys, okay? Couple things with the SPY and the Qs. Today, if we crack below that 420 level, okay, if we crack this trend line here on the SPY, right? We have a trend line that goes back into yesterday's low, and it connects here. I'm sorry, nope, that would have been Wednesday pullback low. It connects here yesterday. It connects again in post market. It may connect again today, and we could see a bounce off that trend line and a move higher. That's right around our 420 support level as well. So if we see the SPY hold the trend line and it doesn't fall below that key level of 420, we could absolutely see the SPY pushing above these pre-market highs back up towards around that 424.95. That's about 2.5 points to the upside to play calls, right? So if we ever break that pre-market high, we have about $2.50 of potential to the upside. If you guys missed that opportunity yesterday, it's a very similar trade. Again, we have opportunity to push higher today. A break over those pre-market highs could send the stock back up towards around 424.95. That was one of our trades yesterday, was a break over that pre-market high, and it moved up about 1.5 points right at the start of the day. If we see the same thing take place on the SPY, a break, and we hold above that pre-market high, we do have about $2 to $2.50 to the upside, and we could look to play calls. But let's say the SPY comes on down, hits that trend line, starts to crack, comes down to 420, looking weak, we fall below it, and we want to play puts. That's what we would want to do at that point in time, is play puts. Where could we see the SPY fall down to? Our next key level of support is back down at that 417 level, right? 417 was on Wednesday. 417 is still a very key level here on the SPY. So if we do crack below the trend line, we start to crack below that 420, we're looking weak. It's screaming, short me, short me, short me. We could definitely look to play puts down into the 417s, another about $2 to $2.50 to the downside. So regardless of what direction the SPY decides to go, there is great opportunity. We got about 2 points to the upside, 2 points to the downside. We just have to sit back and wait to see what the SPY is going to do and confirm our setup. Are we going to break and hold pre-market highs? If so, let's play calls. Are we going to crack below that trend line in 420? And do we see weakness? If so, let's play puts. All right, same thing applies to the Qs. A little bit different, but same thing applies. Go back over to the Wednesday low. We see here yesterday our trend line connects. It connects again in post-market. It connects again in pre-market. This is a valid trend line. If we start to crack the trend line, right, that's a sign of weakness. If we start to fall back below 324, that's where we want to think about getting short and playing puts down to 322. It's about 2 points to the downside. However, if we are able, and we're trying to right now, break above those pre-market highs of 326.28, we could see the Qs have a nice little green day, possibly back up towards the high from yesterday of 330. Now, that's about 4 points to the upside. So if we do see that break and retest, there's definitely more reward to the long side here on the Qs versus the short side. But I don't care. I don't care what the Qs do today. I don't really care what the SPY does. If they want to dump 5 points, okay, let's trade it. If the Qs want to break and rip 10 points, okay, that's fine. Let's trade it. There's opportunity today in this market. But right out of the gate, that level that you need to be paying attention to is that pre-market high. And it is prior support resistance. It's not just a pre-market high, but it's also pre-market support from yesterday. It was also Wednesday's resistance and Wednesday's high a day. So you have multiple points at that price that suggests it's an important level to pay attention to. So again, breaking and staying above that 326.28, we want to play calls back to 330. If we fail to break that level and we look weak, you can get some early puts in anticipation of the trend line crack, in the anticipation of the crack below 324. And again, we have some potential down to 322. If we ever crack below 322 here on the Qs, your next key level of support would be 318.14. So we definitely have some potential here on the SPY and the Qs, but again, we got to sit back and look to see what these two do right when the market opens, all right? Depending on what the overall market does today, depending on what the Qs do, and depending on what the SPY does, right? We may have opportunity on Amazon. So if the Qs look weak and we're having a red day, if the SPY looks weak and we're having a red day, that helps back up my thesis on Amazon puts. And the reason I would want to play Amazon puts, one of two reasons. Number one, multiple rejections at 144.50, right at the 200 SMA. And you have a huge gap that will likely be filled at some point in the future. I'm not saying it's going to be filled today, all the way back down at 122. That's a little unrealistic, okay? But in the coming weeks, the coming months, I do expect to see a pullback in the broader market. I do expect to see a pullback across the board before maybe getting that year-end rally. And if you guys have questions on why I think that, again, feel free to pick my brain and I'll break that down as far as why I think we could see a pullback and how I'm backing that up and what I'm looking to do towards the end of the year. Am I going to go long? Am I going to be heavy? Am I going to go cash? What's my game plan based on the research that I've done? And now what we know, what we have with CPI and PPI and inflation and what to expect. But regardless, a lot of rejection points off the 200 SMA, right around that 144.52. And we had a nice, big, strong rejection yesterday. So what I'm simply looking to do is play yesterday's low of day, right? If we ever see Amazon come down and crack that psychological 140 level, and we see it crack below yesterday's low, we have a tiny gap to be filled down at 138. Now, Amazon, Friday expirations, they'll be cheap, 2 points. There's potential. So the overall market has to be weak today. The overall market has to sell on off. The overall market, the SPY and the Qs, need to drop on down and provide us with a short opportunity before we see Amazon confirm that crack down to 138. I have a short plan on Amazon, not a long plan. I want to see if the markets do drop on off. If so, we got SPY puts, we got Q puts, possibly Amazon puts for about 2 points to the downside on a really decent technical setup to fill that little gap here at 138. Now, assuming the overall markets have a green day and they're looking bullish, we simply play calls on the SPY and the Qs and get some nice returns. Yesterday, small account trade on the SPY was able to lock in 50% in about 30 minutes. So again, I turned $100 into $150 on one trade, not investing any more than 20% of my account on that trade. So it was a good setup, it was a good trade, multiple reasons. Today, we can definitely see some great opportunity as well with those daily expiration contracts. All right, so that's my plan here on Amazon. That's my plan here on the Qs. Again, got to sit back and kind of relax and wait. And that's my plan here on the SPY. Once again, if you're just now tuning in, what are my top small cap stocks for today? You got VEEE above $5. We have room to $7.50. TGL above 13.18. We have room back to 17 and then $20. It's really trying to hold that level on up. You got UBX above 175. We have room to 220 and then 280. Back burner sleeper plays, possible short squeeze opportunities. You have ENVX number 1, VERU number 2. And the possible mid-candle breakout on NVTA, I do believe volume would start to move into the stock above 460. Bottom support, 425. All right, so that's what we got going on. If you guys have any other stocks that you think have potential, anything that you want me to dissect, I'll be more than happy to. But after taking a moment, getting CPI data on Wednesday, getting PPI data on Thursday, taking a moment to digest this and really think logically. You guys know me. In the heat of the moment, maybe sometimes we're not the best logical thinkers, right? We just think, oh, CPI is great, the market ripped, let's take advantage of the opportunity. That's fantastic. We took advantage of the opportunity Wednesday and Thursday. We had some great trades based on that volatility and that movement. But taking a step back and really thinking about this, all right, fantastic. We see inflation may have peaked. That's not a definitive, guys. That's the first month that we've seen inflation come down. That's the right step in the right direction. But we need to see consecutive back-to-back months of inflation still coming down. So just because we have 1 month that inflation's come down doesn't mean we have peaked. We could see inflation numbers skyrocket next month. We could. So again, what is the plan? The plan is to see consecutive quarters, consecutive months, not quarters, consecutive months, back-to-back months of inflation truly working its way down. And if we see that, you can expect to see the Fed maybe readjust what they're going to do with interest rate hikes, right? How aggressive are they going to be? Are they going to start cutting back, right? The market priced in 125 basis points. They priced in a 50, and then to end the year at 25. Now you're seeing reports based on inflation data that the Fed may actually go down to 25, which is about 50 basis points less than what the market has priced in. That's assuming inflation still continues to come down when we get CPI and PPI next month. So again, the right steps in the right direction, guys. Absolutely. But am I going all in because I firmly believe inflation has peaked? No, because we could still see something next month that spooks investors. Inflation could still be on the rise. It may have not peaked. That's a scenario that we'll talk about. But if we see next month, again, we get better than expected, under forecasted CPI that's lower than what it was this month, and we see that again here in, say, like October. During these next 2 months, I do think you see a pullback into some better levels of support, right? I think we get a pullback, we put in a higher low, we consolidate a little bit. I don't think we're straight up from here. Over the next couple of months, I do believe we get that pullback. And I'm looking to be a buyer during that pullback, assuming we have good CPI and PPI, and we still see that inflation is coming down. And I do believe if that's the case, once we see that pullback and we get that nice little higher low, maybe back down around 400 bucks on the SPY, we'll break it down a little bit more thoroughly. I would be looking to load up for a nice little year-end rally. I would be looking to buy that next higher low, assuming we have good inflation data, to see the markets rebound nicely into the year. Now, if we do not see good CPI and PPI, and we see that inflation really hasn't peaked, and the Fed still may have to be slightly aggressive and readjust what they're doing with interest rate hikes, I may hold off on what names I'm buying. I still want to be getting in on some names, right? But it may be different types of names, right? Would I want to go like tech heavy if, inflation's still on the rise? Probably not. But would I want to maybe go with like consumer staples, right? A lot of the necessity stocks, maybe, right? Maybe that would be a good place to put cash because those stocks and those sectors tend to outperform the market. But if we do see inflation retreating and coming down, and that means the Fed's going to be less aggressive, that means we could see a lot of these, like say tech stocks, perform well coming into the end of the year. And we could see big time moves. And there's great opportunity for that final 3-month stretch. So again, am I going all in right now based on what we had this week? No. And the reason for that is I want to see another month it coming down. I want to see another month of it coming down. And that's going to really lead us to believe that, okay, inflation is coming back down. The Fed most likely is not going to be as aggressive with those interest rate hikes. And the market's going to like that. And the market could rally into the end of the year. However, if inflation has not peaked and inflation is still on the rise and not under control, that may lead the Fed to be more aggressive. And they can do that with the job market, right? We already know that they can be more aggressive based on the job numbers that we had last week and unemployment and everything like that. They can afford and they can be more aggressive. And if they're more aggressive, you definitely don't want to be playing a lot of these, say, tech stocks that we just discussed. You may want to be looking at more stocks that can weather a storm, stocks that are considered recession proof, right? Stocks that are necessities. They're going to be your consumer staples. So I don't really plan on doing much over the next month or two, but really depending on what happens over the next month or two, when we get that data, that's going to have me do one of two things for the end of the year to be able to lock in some nice profits on some of these long-term investments, guys. So that's what I got for you, but we're starting our day, all right? We're starting our day. We got 5 seconds to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be watching TGL right out of the gate here around that 1318-ish level. You got VEEE at this point in time. Let's see if this bad boy can pull back for us a little bit. You got UBX. Let's see if we can hold 175. You got some back burner sleepers. And we're just going to kind of sit back, relax, and wait for the next best opportunity to present itself, guys. All right? If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know on this beautiful Friday. Let's identify the best opportunity. Let's make it happen, and let's try to lock in some killer profits. Well, that's unfortunate. I did not get my fill there on TGL. I tried to get my fill there on TGL, and I didn't get filled before it broke 14. So I got to go ahead and cancel that order on out, close it, and we're all set. But again, it held 1318 or 1313, whatever that level was, right at 13. It held it, squeezed off the level. We're halted to the upside 1440. I tried to get involved, but I have to shut down my Fidelity because I don't have the option to market order in. So I tried to limit order in on that trade, and I got passed up on the limits, which is okay. It's all good. It's okay. Let's shut down Fidelity, and let's see if we can get that resolved here real quick. So again, guys, it's just kind of taking a step back, understanding that good inflation data obviously allows, traders and investors and the Fed to be, optimistic that, okay, inflation may have peaked. It came down substantially. We had great data and great numbers. And that may have the Fed readjusting what they're planning on doing by the end of the year. And we can assume that inflation is coming down, that the Fed will be less aggressive, that we could absolutely see the markets continue to move higher in anticipation that we're not going to have a really crazy recession, that maybe we're not even in a recession, that, inflation has peaked and the Fed has it under control, and that was the low in June. And then we can see the markets move higher into next year. That's scenario number one. But let's say that, again, inflation really hasn't peaked and it's not coming down the way the Fed wants it to come down, and it starts pushing its way back up. Again, that's a scenario, right? You have to think of that. If that is the case, the market's already starting to price in the Fed's being less aggressive, but now the market's going to have to start pricing in the Fed being more aggressive, and inflation really hasn't peaked, and that may spook investors. Then you can see the markets retreat a little bit lower. So it really depends. Either way, there's going to be an opportunity to get involved into the year. Just where are we getting involved at? What types of stocks are we buying? Are we going to be buying these tech stocks that would suffer the most with higher interest rates? We're going to be looking at stocks like consumer staples, like the necessities, right? There's still going to be opportunity regardless. It's just where are you going to be putting your money based on the next month or two of inflation data? Either way, there's going to be some opportunity and we're going to make it happen. And I really like the opportunity to be inflation has peaked. Inflation has peaked. And we start to see that pullback. We see good data in September, good data in October, right? Inflation has peaked. It's coming down. The Fed is going to be less aggressive. We could see a lot of these, high growth, tech stocks really do well. So yeah, I'm excited. Either way, there's going to be some good opportunity into the year, guys. All right, so right now we're all set. TGL was halted at 9:31:28. We'll be live at 9:36:28. You got about a minute 30 to go here. NVTA on the mid-candle breakout. You got NVTA working on that mid-candle. It broke 460, guys. So if NVTA was a pick of yours, you could have had your entries ready to go at 460. And you're taking some profits here at $5 on that mid-candle breakout opportunity. Since I'm late by about 40 cents to the trade, it was a 460 to $5 first target trade. And right now you're hitting your first target. I'd like to see a pullback to 460. Hold on up. Make an entry to see if this is an actual mid-candle breakout. All right, so I missed my entry on TGL, unfortunately. It's okay. We'll see how it opens on up. VEE currently halted to the upside. You have a 750 target here on VEE. You got NVTA working on that mid candle at this point in time. I would suggest wait for a 460-ish pullback before getting involved. UBX has support at 150. TGL will be live here in the next 15 seconds. Let's see how TGL goes live, guys. Be TGL. Still have that 13-ish level of support. We opened on up here on TGL. Nice little open on up on TGL. TGL spiking on up again, 1550, 1575, 1560. TGL still ripping. You want to see buyers stay above 15 bucks ideally on TGL. Want to see the bids ideally stay above 15. Over $16, you have room to 17 on TGL. TGL probably going to get halted to the downside on that massive little drop. Again, you still have 13.13 support there on TGL. Again, 13.13 support over on TGL. VEE out of the halt, you have room to 750, guys. So if you get a nice little gap up out of the halt, maybe around $7-ish, right? 15-20 cent gap up. Get the quick dump to that 684. You make your entries right around the 680s. And you got about 60 cents to the upside, 70 cents to the upside. You can put your stops below 650 just to give it a little bit of breathing room. And if it does drop on off, you have time to click that market order button to get out. All right, so VEE, maybe a halt strategy. A gap up around 705. Quick drop to 684. You're making your entries between 684 and 690. You throw stops nice and tight, about 20 cents away, give or take. And you want to be able to lock in some profits up towards around 750. TGL is working on a halt to the downside, it looks like, at this point in time. Over on TGL, the ask is stacking at 1344, and you should be getting halted in a few moments. You are stacking at 1344 on the ask, indicating a halt coming on up in 3, 2, 1. You are now halted to the downside on TGL. VEE will be live at 9:40, 19. You got about a minute to go here on VEE. You got about 1 minute to go there. So VEE will be live next. Let's see what the stock does. So it likes to break and retest. There's your break and retest here at 572. Here's your break over 630. So even if it doesn't gap up and squeeze the 750, let's say it opens and it starts to drop a little bit. 630 is a good level to see the stock hold above on VEE. So right now VEE should be live in the next 30 seconds. And NVTA is showing strength. Momentum is following suit. You got your break over 5. Good volume as well. So right now, NVTA is still looking good. It broke your 460 area, guys. I told you in pre-market there's probably going to be some opportunity that I miss because the setups are really clean. They're in pre-market, but again, it's a distraction. I do not want to be in a trade and have to try and still commentate and break the day down. That's tough. That's challenging, right? Managing a trade and getting everybody prepared at the same time and not being able to put a stop in the system in pre-market is definitely challenging, right? TGL was that 13-ish level entry, and that was a great trade, guys. Fantastic trade. VEE got very close to your 750 level. So if you guys were taking that trade, congrats. Below the halt level of 680, you do have room down to 630. They're on VEEE. We're just going to call it the Gary V. Make it easy. The Gary V, right? Just make it easy. NVTA was our mid-candle breakout. I really didn't think it was going to play on out, guys. But again, you had that one scalp opportunity over 460 to 5. Even said, hey, if you missed it, wait for your full 460 pullback. 460 is a great area on NVTA. It came right down to 460, and now it's up to 5 again. So you had 2 back-to-back opportunities to at least scalp this trade. And if it works with the mid-candle breakout, fantastic, right? You have room back over $6 on the stock. We already got some traders in chat locking in profits. Look, Johnny Holmes is just coming in making it happen, guys. Johnny's coming in, grabbing those trades. Look at that. Got NVTA 86 bucks, doubled his goal. Another break and retest on NVDA at the 460 level. He 4x'd his goal today. Johnny's up over $200 on the day. He 4x'd his goal on this beautiful Friday. Johnny, what's your next step, sir? What's your next course of action? What are you going to do right now at this point in time, Johnny? Catherine locking in 540 on the day. Woo! Johnny, what's your next course of action, sir? What are you doing right now at this point in time? Deborah got TGL at 1380, sold right before the halt, 1444. Halfway to the goal. We got YouTubers over here locking in some profits as well. Very well done, guys. Very well done. I'm really happy that you guys are seeing the setups. You're seeing the opportunities, and you're building plans, and you're not hesitating. Break and retest 460. I'm going to get in at 460. I'm going to put a stop below 450. I'm going to take profit at 5. And you're just willing to execute and not hesitate. And you're getting the absolute best entries. And you're taking profits when you should. And you're locking in profits well above your expectations just by having a plan, being prepared, and not hesitating, and simply reacting and executing. Good job, guys. Way to come in and absolutely dominate this market. No, Johnny, wrong answer. Wrong answer, sir. If you just 4x your goal, you should walk away. Because what happens, Johnny, if you take another trade and it's a loser and now you're back down to say 50 bucks, are you going to be happy or are you going to be upset? Option number 1, walk away. You just 4x your daily goal. That's a way to end your week. Why would you want to give any profits back? Option 1, walk away. Option 2, this is a rule that I have. If I still see opportunity, if I'm on fire, is what's the saying? When's the best time to take a trade? Right after you've been on fire, right? You're on fire, you have momentum, you're just on top of it, you're honed in. Sometimes the best time to take a trade is after you've already taken a lot of great trades. You just got that ball rolling, that snowball effect. You have momentum. So option 2, Johnny, and this is a rule that I have that I suggest you apply, is not risking more than 10% of your current profits. Okay, so if you're going to take a trade, you build your plan. It cannot exceed 10% of what you currently have on the table. That would be $20. The first red trade you take, you're done for the day. So at least you still walk away with a substantial profit on the day. That's my rule. If I hit $1,000 on the day and that's my goal, I could either walk away or I'm going to risk no more than $100 on my next trade if there's a good opportunity. If it's a red trade, I'm done. If it's a green trade, I continue to rinse and repeat and see if I can add to the bottom line. But the second I have a red trade and I lost that 10% on what my current profits are, that's when I shut down and walk away, Johnny. You got 2 options. Both of them are fantastic. Again, if you're on fire and you're seeing opportunities, make it happen. But that's my rule. No more than 10% risk on the profits I have, especially if I'm over my goal. Edwin got 1,000 shares of VEE at $5.97. Woo! Sold at $6.16. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Good job. Good job, guys. Dude, Johnny, another $89 on NVTA for the break of the 528 level. Johnny is on fire. He is rocking and rolling. Currently 5x in his daily goal. Johnny, how's it feel to be a freaking awesome trader? How's it feel to come in and absolutely crush it and apply what you've learned and you're seeing amazing results? I bet it feels good because I feel good. I feel really good for your profits. I'm not even freaking making money right now. I'm not even trading anything. But I feel good for you. I feel great. I'm fired up. Let's go. He just 6x his gold. Johnny, I love it, dude. But you're on fire, man. So if you're up $300, you cannot exceed a $30 risk if you take option number 2. And if you hit that $30 loss, you walk away, but you still 5x your goal on the day. You still 5x your goal. That's still a hell of a goal. It's great, and you're just on fire. So you got those 2 options. Which one works best for you, boss? We got NVTA here. Again, looking for the next good pullback for us. VEE starting to kind of curl on over here just a little bit at this point in time. Momentum still looks okay. You can see momentum's ticking up. as price is kind of consolidating. That's a decent little sign when you have momentum still ticking up and momentum showing strength leading price while it's pulling back and consolidating. NVTA is going to get halted to the upside here, guys. NVTA is absolutely explosive right now. Mid-candle breakout. Wow. Okay. You got room to 664. Then you have room to 860. And then Johnny said he finally hit his goal of making his investment back. So you are now paid up. You are now active, and all those profits purely grow on the account. But hey, the beautiful thing, Johnny, is you got all this education, and no one can ever take that away from you. No one can ever take away what you've learned and the skill set you've acquired. So that's amazing stuff, Johnny. Way to crush it. Way to come in. Way to make it happen. Very proud of you guys. Well done. All right, now that you guys have made all your money, okay? Now that you guys have like 6x your goal, and Catherine locking in $500 on the day, and you got freaking AJ and Joey up in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna trade here, guys. All right, this is Josh time. Welcome to the Josh Howerton Trade Show. Watch Josh trade and lose all of his money. No, you can't put that into the universe. Watch Josh trade and brag about his profits, because that's what everybody else does. So now it's time for the Josh Show. Joking. Let's see if we get a good little opportunity here on NVTA. The stock is absolutely on fire. I would say a decent little dip buy could be right there at 524. Right off that hiccup candle low. Maybe a nice little 524 dip buy here on NVTA. NVTA at this point in time. And maybe a nice little 524 dip buy here, guys. If it falls below 524, you got $5 psychological support. The education and your advice at the right times to keep my level headed, to keep you level headed is priceless. Dude, I love it. I love it, Johnny. I love seeing your progress, and I can definitely see your progress from like 3 months ago to today. Excellent. That's all I can say is just wow. Amazing. So right now, just kind of looking through what we got going on. Where is the next best trade? Where is the trade that I want to take? We can take it along with you guys too. Let's see if these stocks have IPO'd yet. I highly doubt it, but we're just curious. FRZA, nothing. CHG, nothing. I was just curious. We're going to continue to check on those newer IPOs. Looking at a maybe like a 524 dip buy here on NVTA, guys. 524 dip buy here on NVTA. So let's see if we get it. BEE just halts again to the upside. No, it's still moving. Looking for a really killer setup, guys. That's it. Where's our high risk, high reward setup? Maybe a break of the downtrend on VEE. You got support at 630 on VEE. Dude, I can't. I can't right now. I can't do this right now. What's going on? Bro, check this out, guys. This is freaking awesome. Johnny, first trade, break and retest, $20. He's got some consistency. He's got some momentum. Let's go. Johnny doubled his daily goal on NVTA. Another break and retest. NVTA. Another break and retest. NVTA. Just got a VWAP bounce on VEE. He is 8x's daily goal. What is going on right now? I'm not even making money and I'm fired up. I'm not even making money right now, and I am absolutely freaking just ecstatic. What's going on? Johnny, bro, the GOAT. The absolute GOAT. Johnny is the GOAT today. He's the GOAT. Dude's gonna freaking 10x his goal. Johnny took the advice. 10%. Okay, that's fine. Let's go. Again, stay firm, Johnny. Stay firm. 10% max risk on your profits. If you're up $400, your maximum risk on your next trade cannot exceed $40. Your first red trade, you shut down, you walk away, you enjoy those freaking profits, my man. Man. All right, team, you got VEE here, looking for a potential break of the downtrend. Looking at NVTA here for a possible 525 dip buy opportunity here. So looking for that possible 525 dip buy opportunity in VTA. I want to see VEE down just a little bit more before we possibly get the break of the downtrend. I want to see VEE possibly down just a little bit more before we break the downtrend here. Have our downtrend right here off these highs, but I definitely want to wait, get a little bit of a lower entry before the break of the downtrend. So NVTA came down too slow. Remember, dip buys, they got to be fast. If this candle would have dropped to 525, that would have been a dip buy. But you see how it kind of just slowly came into the 525? When these dip buys start to form and present themselves, one of the biggest pieces of a criteria for this to be an exceptional dip buy is how quick it comes into your dip buy level. The slower it comes in, the less odds you have of it working. The faster it comes into that level, kind of like rug pull type action, that's when they work out beautifully. So that was just too slow into that 525 level for the dip buy is why I didn't take it. And you guys know how to trade dip buys. It's what we talk about in that dip buy lesson. One of the biggest pieces of criteria that I have for a dip buy is how fast it comes into that level. So if this candle were to just drop right now to like 5, that's a dip buy level, like that rug pull type of action. But right now, NVTA starting to give a lot back here at this point in time. See how it's just kind of slow into that $5 area? It could bounce, but it's definitely not 80-20 dip buy setup. You know what I mean? It's definitely not 80-20 where I feel confident in the dip buy because it's coming just a little too slow into that level. Again, I'm very picky on dip buys. Very picky on dip buys. This would be more of a possible reversal on NVTA because it's consolidating slowly, pulling back slowly. This would be more of a reversal compared to a dip buy. If you guys are wondering what's the difference between a reversal and what's the difference between a dip buy, it's all about the speed and how fast it comes into that dip buy area, that key level of support that you've identified. And right now, this would be more of a potential reversal setup for a potential break of a downtrend versus that dip buy that could bounce 20, 30 cents. Right now, let's see how we set up on NVTA here. Definitely some great potential. I got VEEE at this point in time. Trying to break that downtrend. I'm gonna watch this one. right? You guys know that I'm utilizing the momentum indicator a lot more to back up my trades. Momentum doesn't suggest a break here. Okay, momentum doesn't suggest a break. So I'm going to sit back on VEE. From a technical perspective, I would be all over this for the break of the downtrend after we just bounced off that 20 EMA. But with that being said, I'm going to sit back on this one and see what VEE does utilizing momentum as another form of TA to base trades off of. So I'm going to sit back on this one because momentum doesn't suggest a break and a move higher. Now, I'm just curious to see if the stock can still break and move higher, or if this momentum indicator is really leading price and to give us a great idea of what to expect next. So I'm not looking to take this trade for that break. And we're definitely, right? We're definitely watching NVTA for the break of the downtrend. Absolutely, 100%. Nice little downtrend. Let's see how she sets on up. You're sitting right around $5 at this point in time. You guys know that I'm going to sit back personally here on VEEE and just kind of see what this stock does. If it breaks, see if I can notice anything with that momentum indicator. If it cracks, that leads me to believe that this momentum indicator is really going to help us on out with these momentum penny stocks to really confirm strong upcoming moves or possible weakness and these dumps. So the reason I'm staying out of this trade is because momentum doesn't suggest the break and the move higher. And it kind of appears like it wants to roll on over. It looks like a little bit of that double top, a lot of resistance, tons of upper shadows. You're at like that 713. So it's definitely topping on out, it looks like, starting to roll on over. And momentum suggests it's a rollover as well. So let's see. Right now, it's still between NVTA and we're still watching VEE as well, guys. We have those other two possible new IPO stocks that could give us some action today. TOP is halted to the downside at this point in time. What we're looking for is a possible downtrend break on NVTA. So holding above $5 support looks fantastic. Breaking the downtrend as well as breaking back above 525, we could see some big time volume start to move back in here with NVTA. So assuming we hold above $5 support, put in a double bottom, give us some market structure, maybe a higher low that indicates an upcoming reversal, and we start to break the downtrend in 525, we have room back up to high a day, which is almost at $6. So definitely watching at this point in time NVTA. I'd like to see the downtrend get rejected here at 525 as well. Come back down, bounce, strong bounce, buyers move in, follow through, break the downtrend, push above 525, and start to see that next leg on up. Let's see if we have any action here, guys. We start to crack below 5. We start to fall below 490. Probably going to dump back down to 460. Okay, so stops got to be nice and tight. Again, give it breathing room. It may wick down below 5 into the 490s, and then you get bid back up and pushed back up. But if you give it any more than 10 cents of breathing room, you might as well just put a stop at 460 because it'll probably come down and bounce at 460. But with that being said, there's a couple things here to look at with NVTA, guys. Breaking the downtrend back above 525, that would be a great break as well. That would be squeezing, like Placid said, back above the VWAP, and we could see buyers moving in for a VWAP break as well. You definitely have a couple reasons to be watching NVTA at this point in time. It's right at that 525. You know, the third point breaks are typically 50-50, but NVTA has some hype behind it, guys. It has some potential. But we all know that the third point in a break of a downtrend or a crack of an uptrend, typically 50-50. If they break, they break, right? But there's that 50% chance as well that we do come back down and then break on 0.4, and that's when you have the high probability setup as a fourth point break of the trend line. We are trying to push above that level right here, right now. I do not have a position, though, on NVTA. And I completely spaced. We're still live on YouTube. I'm just too hyped up, too fired up. We have some opportunity in the market. Traders in chat get me absolutely just, again, ecstatic. I'm fired up. I completely forgot we were live on YouTube. So you guys got a little bit more of a sneak peek behind the curtains of what we do here inside of our community. All right, traders are just crushing it, locking in profits, sitting back, being patient, waiting for the best opportunities and making it happen. YouTubers, enjoy your weekend. Trade smart, trade safe. And congratulations to anybody that locked in some great profits. I know Deborah was over there locking in some great profits. I know we had a couple other individuals saying Sanami took NVTA for 350. We got some YouTubers over there locking in some profits. And like Beth would say, come over to the chat, right? You got some free profits. Come on inside to chat. Make it happen again next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Become one of our top traders inside of Profits chat. Join the team, have some fun, make it happen. With that being said, enjoy your weekend, YouTubers. All right, happy and safe trading, and I'll see you guys back here Money Monday, right around 9 o'clock, as we do this all over again. So if we get this candle to come back down to 524 and it bounces, I'm in. I'll go in. If we can just get a quick little pullback, 525, 524. Hold that level and start to push. I'm in. Absolutely. More of a traditional set it and forget it. Risking about 25 cents to make 50 cents, right? Look to get in right around 524 as we broke the downtrend. We broke the VWAP back above every indicator and back above 524 prior resistance, prior support, looking at those two hiccup candles. That's also a break of the downtrend. It would also be pulling back into three key indicators that traders utilize as support. I would definitely look to be a buyer at 525, as I'd expect that to be a pullback, higher low, nice push, nice reversal. The stock's on fire, possible mid-candle breakout. I would throw a stop loss right below 5. I'd risk maybe 30 cents at most, and I do have potential to make 60 cents to the upside, right? We have potential back up to those highs of 590. This is more of a traditional set it and forget it. So right now, NVTA, let's see if we can come down, hold 525. See what this candle does here at 525. Maybe I take a 25% in. Maybe I just kind of scale in here. Not go all in, but just go ahead and get my feet wet in case it does come down. I really reduce that risk here. We hold up. You can always add to the position. But right now, looking to see if we have any good buying pressure here, if we have any good price action off this 424 level. I keep saying 4 whatever. 520. You guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. So I did not get in yet. We're not really seeing. Okay. Now we're starting to bounce here a little bit. Still waiting. My finger's on the trigger, though. Still waiting. I want to see how this candle can definitely play on out. You know, it's only 30 more seconds. 30 seconds of being patient. Want to see if we have any good price action. If we see this bouncing really nice, suggesting buyers are starting to step back in. Against retesting. I mean, it is kind of falling back below those indicators, but again, it's on the 1 minute time frame. Again, I'm a little 50-50 with it. I haven't pulled the trigger just yet. And my plan was to be around 525 entry, stops below 5, high day target. I have not pulled the trigger yet, though. But I am liking this decreasing volume pullback. I like how we're trying to retest the break of the downtrend as support. But again, I'm not pulling the trigger because I'm not really seeing what I would like to see that suggests we're going to start to see that move in our direction. We could probably readjust the downtrend now, right? We could probably throw it out like this. Run it off those candle bodies. We can see here that we still have this downtrend that could be broken, right? So that was a little bit of a downtrend that did break. Since we're falling back below these levels, that leads me to believe that's not the downtrend that the majority of traders are really looking at for the break. So run off these candle bodies here. We still have a possible boom, boom, bang, right? 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, trying to get a double bottom. As long as $5 holds, as long as $5 holds on up, we hold that higher low or double bottom, we have great chances to break the downtrend to get that next leg on up. But $5 is our key level of support. You start to crack below $5, you're coming back down to 460. Again, you crack below 5, it's going to fade on off, back down to 460. And again, we are right around 10-10 in the market. And we do know that 10-10:30, that's when things start dying on off. That's your typical Friday. I have not pulled the trigger on NVTA. I was in pre-market at like 450. But again, no stops coming into our day. I had to walk away from that trade. If I would have held, it would have been a great trade. Absolutely. But getting everybody prepared for the day, getting that newsletter published, I had to go ahead and close that trade right around my cost basis. They're in pre-market on NVTA, but was in early. I typed that up inside of chat, getting in early for the mid-candle breakout because we were so close to support that I felt confident to get in, have a nice tight stop. But I am not in NVTA right now at this point in time, guys. Starting to crack 5, moving a little bit lower here. Really sideways chop on the spine, the Qs. I still do want to watch NVTA just in case it regains that $5 level. Still curious to see if it does set on up for us. VEE came right down to that 630 level. That was the first time we hit 630 on the break and retest. So for those of you that like the breaks and retests, I mean, that was another very low risk, great reward trade on VEE for that break and retest. Are any of these IPOs live yet? FRZA was an IPO for today. Nothing here yet. CHG was an IPO. Probably around like 11 or 12 o'clock, you would expect. MXC hitting that breakout scanner. MXC. CNFR was halted. Very light volume. Yeah, those are your typical pump and dumps. Typical pump and dumps. UBX still fading and falling. I mean, we're on top of it. We definitely are on the right stock. So looking to see if NVTA is going to set back up for us. Got VEE. Came down to 630. Nice dip buy. Nice bounce. And we are, at this point in time, trying to now stay above that prior level of resistance. Again, look, you had tons of resistance right around that 710-ish level. Tons of resistance. Now we're trying to hold on up above 710. If we fall back below, that tells us that there are still more sellers than buyers at that 710, 715 price level. So assuming we hold above this level, that's an indication that we have more buyers here than sellers, and we can continue to see that move on up here on VEE. Momentum ticking up during consolidation, holding above 710. That's a key little level here over on VEE. See if we get the high day break. Momentum still ticking up as we're consolidating above 710 support. If we ever break 756, we know that VEE could get very, very explosive here to the upside. Boom, very explosive over the IPO high. VEE at this point in time really showing some strength. Really showing some strength here on VEE. Let's see if it's going to break 8 up to 875. Below 775, maybe consider locking in profits if it's going to continue to rip on up. You don't want to see it back below 775. You want to see if it can just squeeze on up over $8 and continue higher. Nice big break, tons of volume, momentum still showing strength. And I'm going to break this through as how momentum suggested a push higher. So right now, 756 was the IPO high. 756 was the breakout. That was the IPO high. We still see buyers coming on in here in the 760s. If buyers can jump back in over 775, we have a great chance of breaking 8 and seeing a nice leg up to 875 and then $10 here on VEE. So $8 break, we could see some big time action. We're trying to hold above that 756, and 756 was the IPO high. You fall back below that level, traders may give up, traders may retreat, buyers may step out. Right now, looking to see if this is going to hold on up and get that next leg. The buyers can get this back above 775 for an $8 break, and the next leg to 875 here on VEE. I still like momentum here. Right, momentum was a good indication for the breakout there during that pullback. Momentum still ticking on up during this nice, healthy, decreasing volume pullback, suggesting that we still have great potential to continue higher. But again, anything could happen. Some big seller could come in, market order out, and dump the stock 50 cents. But right now, what we're seeing is still good. That suggests a potential push over 8s. Momentum still ticking on up, looking pretty good. Nice, healthy, decreasing volume pullback into the IPO high of 756. So right now, let's see if buyers can push back above 770. Definitely looking a little weak here at this point in time. I'm going to go ahead and take those profits on VEE. Just go ahead and get out of that. Go ahead and get out. Go ahead and take a couple bucks there. So one thing I want to point out with the momentum indicator, right? We talked about this yesterday, that it's labeled as a leading indicator, okay? So when we see the stock moving on up and we see momentum ticking down, that's an indication to stay away. VEE, Stock's trying to build on up for a breakout. Momentum's ticking down. I said stay away from that trade because momentum's not following price to suggest a breakout. And we were correct. It came down to 630. Why was this a good trade here, guys? Right? Why did I jump into this trade and just lock in a couple bucks? What was happening as the stock was pulling back and consolidating? As we pulled back and retesting that 710, we could back this trade up with momentum. Momentum was suggesting that level was going to hold and traders would move right back in. Stock is actually pulling back and consolidating, but momentum is still ticking higher, telling us that we have great chances of that push off 710 for the next leg on up. And just like that, we saw it. So right before that big explosive candle, guys, if you're wondering, okay, 710, is this level going to hold? Is this bull flag going to break? Is this going to be a stock that actually holds the 90 EMA, that holds 710, that breaks out of this bull flag? Being able to back it up with momentum, a leading indicator, still doing research, is it really a leading indicator? But so far, we've been very spot on utilizing momentum in conjunction with a lot of our scalps and a lot of our trades. We see momentum ticking up as the stock is still falling and consolidating, giving us a great sign that we could actually see this move on up off those two levels of support. And just like that, we saw that big time move. Now, what's momentum doing along this pullback? Momentum's kind of falling. It's moving with price. Now, if momentum was still ticking up as we were pulling back, that would lead us to believe that, hey, we still have potential for another leg higher. But again, we're not really seeing momentum lead price. Momentum's actually falling as we're pulling back as well, not actually leading price ticking higher. So again, not looking for that entry off that 756, but definitely was grabbing an entry down towards around 710 there on VEEE. Again, nice break, nice hold above 710, a little bit of a bull flag, consolidating into that 90 EMA, momentum ticking up as we're actually on a red candle, pulling back, testing support, and then we see that big time explosive move. So that's absolutely fantastic. You're starting to see some divergence on NVTA. Right? You're starting to see a little bit of divergence here on NVTA, guys. What's divergence? Well, it's when you have momentum, for example, making higher lows, but the stock's making lower lows. Momentum here is actually curling on up, even though the stock had a lower low. We are back above 5. We could still potentially break this downtrend, assuming we stay above $5. So let's see what we have here on NVTA. Are we going to stay above 5? Are we going to proceed to break this downtrend? Are we going to see our next leg up to 525? Up towards around 543? It's very possible. If you're looking for an entry, you're putting a stop at 485. You're going to risk 15 cents to make potentially 40 cents plus. Let's see if $5 holds here on NVTA. Let's see if $5 is going to hold here on NVTA. Possibly break that downtrend. You have potential to 522 first target, lock in profits at the VWAP. And then 540, and then back up to high a day. If $5 holds, if we see buyer still here, ready to push the stock for a break of the downtrend. If the downtrend gets rejected and we don't break and we fall back below 5, I still think we can see this down towards around that 460 level. About 35,000 shares sitting at $5. 34,000 shares trying to hold this up. 39,000 shares trying to hold this up at 5. That big buyer is your level of support. He gets taken out, support cracks and drops. He got taken out, support starts to crack and drop. Right now, NVTA back below 5. Not a great sign, but let's see if this downtrend can ever break. But if we crack below this prior low here and we still continue to get rejected off this downtrend, You do have potential to still fall towards around 460. But one thing I want to point out, even when the stock's price is dropping lower, we still see momentum pushing higher. Right? So you have momentum pushing up as stocks falling. Definitely showing some potential here, guys. So right now, looking for the break of the downtrend as buyers are back above $5. You got about 10,000 shares sitting at 503. We can start to break through that 503 seller and break that downtrend. Momentum indicates that we could see the break coming on up towards around 520, guys. Let's see if buyers are here ready for that break as we are back above $5 support. Looking to see if buyers can get that break on out here. This would be the point where it would break. Either A, it breaks and rips another 20 cents to the upside, or B, it doesn't break, it fails, it drops back below 5, and it comes down to 460. So right now, if you start cracking below 488, it's going to come back down to 460. That's just your most realistic level to see NVTA come back down to if you crack 488. Right now, not looking all that great. Buyers are definitely struggling here, and it didn't break on that one candle. That was your make or break. Either A, it's going to break and start to move higher, or B, it's going to get rejected and start to move lower here. And right now, we're not really seeing those buyers step up to the plate to get this thing going. If you fall below 488, most likely coming down to 460. If 488 holds and we still have potential for that break, then we have potential for the break. But right now, definitely not seeing what we want to see to be jumping in right now at this point in time as it keeps struggling to get above $5. BEE looks disgusting right now. SPY and the Qs are just nothing going on. So still watching NVTA. This could be the last trade of the day, guys. Could be the last trade of the day. If that prior low holds on up at 488, you start to see some volume for a break of the downtrend. We could see a nice reversal and we could see NVTA take on off. But if NVTA cracks 488 here, it's going to come back down towards around 460. And this trade would most likely die on off as we are nearing that 1030 mark when a lot of stocks typically die on off. So at this point in time, we have one final opportunity with NVTA. And that opportunity would be holding above 488, seeing a nice bounce, seeing buyers step in, breaking the downtrend in $5 back up towards around that VWAP, right around 542, and then back up a high a day. We start to fail 488, going to come down another probably 30 cents to the downside. That trade would probably be dead at that point in time and really lose, traders would lose interest in the stock. If that fails, I mean, we don't really have too much else. You got VEE. It just doesn't look good right here. Doesn't look good at all. AMC's been dumping all day. TGL's been dumping. UBX has been dumping. ENVX, nothing. VERU, nothing. The SPY and the Qs, really choppy at this point in time. The only opportunity that we have staring us in the face could be the possible breakout here on NVTA. And you crack below 48, he's done for. I'm going to go long with a tight stop under 488, looking for the break. If it's going to work out, it's going to work out right here. But I'm going to take a long here, filled at 493. Stops are under 488. If it fails, it fails. I risk 5 cents. If it breaks and it squeezes, guess what? Got a nice low entry. And we'll see what happens. We want to see the break over 5 within literally the next 20 seconds. If it's going to break, it's going to break. If not, we want to get out. Again, you want to see it break here and squeeze above 5. If that's the case, we feel good, we feel confident, we have potential. If it starts to drop back down to 490, it's probably going to crack 488 and dump on off. You want to get out quick. Right now, it's just kind of stalling here, and I don't like how it's just stalling. It's not really budging off that 495. Again, it's got to break $5 here and start to make that leg on up. If it doesn't start to break 5 and pop on up and we start to see it back down in the low 490s, it's dead. Get out. I got a 493 entry. I'm playing it very tight here on the stock because this is the point in time I expect to see a break and a move if it's going to break properly and move to the upside. But I'm not crazy about it. I was expecting to see that break over the last 2 candles, and we're still just kind of struggling, losing volume. So if it doesn't break here in the next few moments, I'm out. If it doesn't break 5 and take on off, I'm walking. I'll make like maybe a couple bucks. You got a lot of selling at 5, but you have barely any buyers. A lot of sellers, barely any buyers. Below 495, I walk. Make like 2 cents. If it doesn't break 5 and squeeze, I'm out. It'll probably dump on off. Don't have any buyers here. You got a lot of selling taking place there at 5. You got 37,000 shares at 5. If you can take out that 37,000 share seller at 5, we can break. He's at 37,000 shares at $5. Okay, we took him out in one order. Nice. Starting to push above 5. Now we need to take on off. Buyers need to come on in. Buyers need to get excited. Buyers need to say, okay, we're above 5. Let's go. Start moving on in. All right, more buyers than sellers. Coming at 502, 503, 504, 505. Start bidding up. Again, back below $5. I don't care. Back below $5, I'm out. I'll take a whopping 3 cents a share. I'll take it, but I'm not going to risk anything because I expect to see this break on out right here, right now. If it's going to break on out, which it's trying. Right now, we're up about 10 cents a share at this point in time. I want to see buyers holding 5. I want to see their big buyers at 5, and I want to see buyers holding 5. I want to see big bids. You got 16K sitting there at 5. He's getting taken out. Got about 30K sitting there at 5. He's getting taken out. I'm out. It's struggling. It's failing. I'm going to take 9 cents a share. It's not breaking. It's not working out based on our expectations. It shows a lot of weakness. It's struggling. I'm going to go ahead and take a small little base hit profit there, getting out at 498, long at 494. Again, nothing crazy, but not holding a trade that just doesn't look that good anymore. It had potential to break and open on up and really start to move. We're breaking a few different key technical levels. It's not getting the follow through. It's not breaking in the time frame that I expected it to break and move. So for that reason, I'm out. And so a couple things to back this up, right? Why did I take that trade? Number one, double bottom off 488. You come down to 488, you bounced, hit the trend line. Back down to 488, and at that point in time, you start to see a little bit of volume move on in, right? You see a little pop in volume, you see the bounce, you see 488 hold. And at that point in time, you still see some divergence. So the stock is making lower lows, but divergence is making higher lows. And during that point in time, when the stock is kind of falling on down, we actually see momentum relatively strong, ticking up, holding on up, suggesting that we still have potential for buyers to step in for that break after we bounced at 488. So I got in as close to 488 as possible right off that level. Because if 488 is going to hold and we're going to break and squeeze, that's the lowest the stock's going to go, is 488. Going to bounce off 488 and then start moving to the upside. If it falls below 488, I'm out. So I had like 3 to 4 cents of risk on that trade with a VWAP target, which is about 30 cents away. So again, quick double bottom, right off 488, making the entries as close to that level as possible, anticipating the break of the downtrend, and we had momentum backing up that trade as well at that point in time. So again, I was long. We start to break. But the one thing I didn't like right here was the decrease in volume. That was the one thing I didn't like, is we didn't break right above $5 and take on off. We actually broke the downtrend, hit $5, and we struggled quite a bit. We had a lot of sellers up there. At that point in time, we saw a decrease in volume, not an increase. During breakouts, I want to see volume increasing. I want to see more buyers moving on in. And then here, we're finally above 5. Volume's increasing, but we see more selling than buying. Again, not seeing exactly what I want to see. I'm not taking it. I'm out. It looks weak at this point in time. VEE is an absolute monster stock right now, for sure. Oh, show. It's definitely getting a little choppy up here, though, guys. It's definitely getting just a little bit choppy here, right? Nice big rug pull, almost got halted. Rebounds, moves on up. I mean, couple clean setups here out of the gate. Out of the gate, wash out long. Break and retest. Boom. Right? Nice little momentum play here. Boom. You had about 3 killer setups today on VEE. Right now, since that last killer setup, has there been another killer setup? No, there hasn't. I don't think there has, personally. It just looks like a lot of chop and randomness to me. The washout long here was great. I think Catherine took that. The break and retest here was great. And then this little momentum play here for the scalp through high day was great. Other than that, I haven't seen anything else that stands out to me as why I would want to take the trade. So right now at this point in time, guys, things are starting to die on off. NVTA dying on off. VEE is still moving on up at this point in time. Now let's see if we get a nice little pullback to like 790, right? 790 high a day, 790 high a day. Nice break. Old resistance turns into new support. Let's see if VEE is going to stay above 790. FRZA, are we live yet on that? Nope. CHG, nothing there. VEE is the #1 pick. Now it's 10:30, guys. 10:30 in the market. If we don't see anything else in the next 15 minutes for some great opportunity, we are going to end our trading session for a slight little green day. Little green day. When I say little, I mean literally break even. little, like $30. Yeah. NVTA and pre-market had to walk away. NVTA, I tried to take that trade, didn't work on out. TGL, attempted to trade, got out for like $16, and then VEE with a whopping $50. So again, Fridays, I don't typically trade the best on Fridays anyway. Fridays are challenging days. I typically don't trade on Fridays, or I make a couple bucks, I lose a couple bucks. Usually it's a flat break-even day, and today's pretty much a break-even day. I do feel more confident. The more and more I size up on these trades with Fidelity, the more and more I'm confident that I can trade with Fidelity with large size, like I would with Centerpoint or Lightspeed. I've always been hesitant. I've never done it, but I'm starting to step up with more size. And as long as you got hot button set up, you're great. As long as you got them configured and set up, boom. I mean, you're getting in and out. Entries are fantastic. I like it. I love it. I'm definitely excited to move forward with Fidelity and save thousands of dollars in commissions and fees a month. So a couple things. Yeah, so a couple of trade armor, set it and forget it, right? That's a new approach for me. I'm not a traditional trader at all. So that was a new approach, the set it and forget it. And we had a couple of those this week, and we're break even across the board on the set it and forget it's. You know, we had a nice one there on, what was that, Monday or Tuesday. We had a loser there on Wednesday. And since then, I haven't really seen a set it and forget it kind of opportunity. I'm still, again, I'm adapting to that. That's just not how I've traded the last 8 years of my career. So this is something I have to readapt and get adjusted to. That's just how it is. And really just level up and acquire the skill set on the proper way to do these set it and forget it's, these more traditional trading. So yeah, I've been using trade armor on Fidelity. Still getting used to it, #1. But now I'm starting to size up a little bit and take more scalps, right? Scalp opportunities with Fidelity that I've never done before. I've always been really hesitant because of the delay and the calculation and yada, yada, yada. But here over the last couple of days, it's actually not bad. It's actually really good. Executions are fast. Even with larger size, I don't feel like there's a delay in getting filled or a lot of partials like you see with, say, TD Ameritrade or Schwab. So far, I'm feeling great about Fidelity, and I'm really looking forward to continuing using Fidelity really across the board, right? The set it and forget it approaches, day trading. But first things first, I got to get a different monitor this weekend. That's the same resolution. So when I do pull it over, it doesn't crash my system. Tuesday, that's what happened. It crashed my system. And then Steve said Fidelity doesn't like different resolutions and going from screen to screen. So before I can get that P&L box up over here, I'm going to have to get a different monitor so it doesn't crash my system. But like I tell you guys, I'm always nothing but transparent, open, honest with all my trades. So the least I can do is bring this over and show you guys that I'm literally break even on the day, right? NVTA, $34 loss, got out quick. TGL didn't play out. Lost, I made 16 bucks. And then VEE for a small 54 bucks. So nothing crazy, keeping the size small as I'm still working my way up with Fidelity to feel confident with using bigger size and that I can get in and get out quick like I can with any other broker, like a premium broker. But yeah, I'm break even on the day. And I don't really like trading Fridays anyway.